Hey guys, welcome back to another video with a breaking story about somebody who played stupid games and won stupid prizes. We're going to check in and catch up with the story of a star woke journalist, a darling of left-wing media, a columnist and editor over at the Washington Post, Karen Attiah, who was previously the editor of Global Opinions. Well, she's been fired for some of her posts over Charlie Kirk, some of her public statements, and shocker, wait for it, this one's going to stun you guys. You're going to be really surprised. She's already weaponizing her identity and playing the victim and just kind of glossing over her egregious statements and journalistic misconduct. Let's get into it all. If you've never heard of Karen, well, she's like one of the most unhinged left-wing posters that's had a perch in mainstream media, like a pretty prestigious perch. That's the kind of job, a Washington Post opinion page editor job that people would die for. But she's really never been shy about tweeting and posting just the most unhinged left-wing statements and rhetoric about identity and other stuff and whatever. But it's come back to bite her this time because of the things she posted about Charlie Kirk. And what's so ironic about this story is I'm taking all this information from her own article on Substack about being fired that she seems to think vindicates her, but literally just has all the reasons why, yeah, correct, she should have been fired. And then, of course, she plays the victim. We'll get to that. But first, here's that article from her Substack. The Washington Post fired me, but my voice will not be silenced. I spoke out against hatred and violence in America, and it cost me my job. She writes, last week, the Washington Post fired me. The reason? Speaking out against political violence, racial double standards, and America's apathy toward guns. Guys, pause for a second. Just riddle me this. Do you think the Washington Post, a center-left newspaper, would be firing people and all they did was speak out against political violence, call for gun control, and criticize racism? Does that sound accurate? Does that sound like a thing that really happened, or does that sound like bullshit? Well, if you know what's up, then you know that it is, in fact, BS. That's not what she did, or at least it's certainly not all that she did in her public posts and statements. And there is a lot more to the story about why she got fired. So let's look at some posts that she put out after Charlie Kirk's death. She did, in one or two posts, condemn political violence, but then she did a lot of bizarre what about commentary where she's bringing up other things. She's kind of explaining why she doesn't care, other sorts of rhetoric. So here's one post. For everyone saying political violence has no place in this country, remember 2 Democratic legislators were shot in Minnesota just this year, and America shrugged and moved on. Pause here for a moment. What? That's not true. It was the biggest news story in the country. Everyone came together and condemned it. It was horrifying. But we did. What else did she want? Like, everyone was against that as well. I don't understand the point here. Saying you shouldn't care about Charlie Kirk because no one cared about these 2 Democrats who were shot a couple months ago. That's not real. That everyone cared. Everyone was horrified by it. I was, so was every Republican I know. Like, we're just living in Delulu land already. Now, here's where we get into the truly edgy stuff. She posted, part of what keeps America so violent is the insistence that people perform care, empty goodness, and absolution for white men who espouse hatred and violence. Yeah, America is violent because people have empathy for victims of political terrorism. Yeah, that's it, Karen. This is the kind of stellar analysis that has earned her this prestigious job in mainstream media. And it totally has nothing to do with ever whatsoever DEI or affirmative action or wanting more diversity on staff. And so you employ an unhinged lunatic, even though they constantly cause problems for you because they check certain boxes on the census. Couldn't be that. I would never. Who said that? Oh no, I would never say that. Now, here's the thing. She posts this as if it's some big, what I'm about to show you. She posts this as if it's some big, like, get out of jail free card. That this is the only thing she directly said about Charlie Kirk. My only direct reference to Kirk was one post, his own words on record. This is, and she put on Blue Sky, quote marks, Black women do not have the brain processing power to be taken seriously. You have to go steal a white person's slot. End quotation marks, Charlie Kirk. She posted that on Blue Sky. His own words on record, guys. How could she get in trouble for just posting a Charlie Kirk quote? That's not a crime. That's just journalism. It's not a quote. He never said those words at all. It is a fake quote extrapolated that mischaracterizes something he actually said, which was referring to a select few Black women who explicitly benefited from affirmative action. And he said, I don't think you guys could have got there on your own merit. That is not, he didn't say these words that she's put in a quote mark about all Black women. So she published a fake quote to, let's see, 14,000 people like that. So she's just sharing fake, made up quotes about a person who was just killed to defame them after they're dead, after they've been victimized by political terrorism. That is journalistic malpractice. And as far as I'm concerned, that is at least a sanctionable event, if not a fireable offense. And frankly, I think it's probably a fireable offense. So she posts this like, that's all I said. Yeah, that's pretty bad, Karen. What are you doing? Now, here's what she says the Post said when they fired her. And yet, the Post accused my measured Blue Sky posts. Are the measured posts in the room with us? Because I don't find any of that measured. I find that to be unhinged. Anyway, back to this. And yet, the Post accused my measured Blue Sky posts of being, quote, unacceptable, quote, gross misconduct, and of endangering the physical safety of colleagues. Charges without evidence, which I reject as completely false. They rushed to fire me without even a conversation. This was not only a hasty overreach, but a violation of the very standards of journalistic fairness and rigor the Post claims to uphold. So I'm sorry, but you cannot fix your mouth to lecture us about journalistic standards after you're sharing fake quotes. What? The self-awareness is not in the room with us. Oh my gosh. Now, the one piece of this, I do think her conduct was unacceptable. I do think it constitutes gross misconduct and journalistic malpractice. The one piece of this where if, and this is the biggest if in the world, because I do not think Karen here is remotely credible, if the Post really said that her statements endanger the physical safety of her colleagues, I wouldn't agree with that. I don't think words endangers people's physical safety, and I think that's a real stretch, and I don't think we should be going down that path. So I would not agree with that piece of it. But the rest of it, I mean, yeah, correct. And honestly, Karen, the truth is they probably wanted to get rid of you for a long time. Because like I said, she has a long track record of posting just the most diabolically unhinged things and causing headaches for the Post editors and the serious reporters there, because like I crap on a lot of mainstream media, but at every one of these institutions, whether it's CNN, whether it's the Washington Post, whether it's the New York Times, they have staffs of hundreds and hundreds, and dozens of them are like very loud, crazy people. But honestly, probably hundreds of them are very serious reporters who are like doing on the ground reporting from war zones and have all sorts of inside connections on Wall Street and are doing like a really good job and taking their craft super seriously, but they don't go viral, right? It's the crazies that go viral and discredit the whole institutions. And that's really, as somebody who is a recovering journalist, as I would describe myself, I have tons of sympathy for those people. And I actually still see value in these mainstream media institutions. But yes, they have to purge the crazies who literally don't believe in journalism. If you are publishing fake quotes unrepentantly, you do not believe in journalism as a concept. Yeah, I'm sorry, you should not be employed by the Washington Post. In fact, just sorry, that's what I stand on business. But of course, we're all just racists, and she's just a victim because she is a Black woman. Let me read you this. I was the last remaining Black full-time opinion columnist at the Post in one of the nation's most diverse regions. Washington, D.C. no longer has a paper that reflects the people it serves. What happened to me is part of a broader purge of Black voices from academia, business, government, and media, a historical pattern as dangerous as it is shameful and tragic. Oh no, I'm going to get out the little tiny violin for you, Miss Terrible Victim of Racism. No, you're not. Give me every break in the world. First off, the Washington Post has plenty of black reporters and staff. That's just nonsense. Yeah, okay. They don't have that many full-time opinion columnists. So the fact they don't happen to have a black one is just whatever. And the idea that your identity as a black woman gives you some sort of shield to engage in journalistic malpractice and not be fired is antithetical to merit. Actually, a black person who works at a major journalistic institution should be treated the same as a white person. And white journalists who publish fake quotes also get fired, or at least they certainly should. So just invoking your identity like this is just a desperate attempt to play the victim. It is not remotely compelling to me, and I find it ironic because, frankly, if we're being honest, she probably wouldn't have that job if she was a white man in the first place, or she would have lost it a long time ago from some of the unhinged crap she's posted over the years. And this is not part of a broader purge. It's part of a cleanup on aisle crazy that they're trying to do with the Washington Post, and thank goodness, because it's long overdue. But I am not buying this invocation of identity as a shield at all, and I find it gross, honestly. Like, the other thing is, oh, well, because I'm not employed at the Washington Post, they're not representative of our black, DC metro area. It's absolutely true that the metro area of DC is heavily populated with black people, but Karen Attiah is like the most out of touch, elitist, left-wing elite. The idea that she is any way in touch or representative of your average DC black person is just bizarre to the point of like brain breaking. I don't even know how to engage with some of the excuses she's making for her own egregious misconduct. And guys, I don't know. I have no sympathy. I'm going to talk about it more on the show, on my daily podcast, Brad versus Everyone, soon. But I think some of the backlash to people who are discussing Charlie Kirk's terrible, terrible assassination, it may be going too far, maybe becoming cancel culture. I don't have a lot of sympathy for people who openly support political terrorism, losing their jobs, because, I mean, what do you expect? I don't really want you as a teacher if you think it's okay to murder people for their ideas. But some people are being targeted who said, I am opposed to the violence, I don't support this, but I don't like Charlie Kirk, or I think he was a racist, or other things. Is some of the cancel stuff may be getting out of control. And we're going to talk about that and be honest and fair about it. This is not an example of that. Journalists posting unhinged race baiting and fake quotes deserve to get fired. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. You tell me in the comments if you think that I'm missing something and that she's a victim here. You can try to convince me. I'll read your comments, guys. But let me know what you think down below. Do make sure you're subscribed if you aren't yet. Hit the like button while you're at it. And we'll be back with more content real soon.